You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steelers Nation. It's The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson with you here on a Friday as we rock and we roll and get ready for Sunday Night Football. Steelers-Ravens, 2 dogs, 1 bone, Matt Williamson. I know that is a cliche, but it's
not a true one, though.
It's not on Sunday night.
No.
It's the truth on Sunday night.
It comes down to, right.
2 enter, only 1 can leave as division champs and go into the postseason. It is one of the fiercest rivalries in football. And this is, I know that these teams in the 21st century have met in an AFC championship game and a couple playoff games. Other than that, this is towards the top of the list, I think, of most important, most consequential matchups ever between these 2 franchises.
I mean, it's as much on the line as a playoff game. I mean, one of them's going home and one of them's advancing.
Yep.
I mean, that's what it's come down to. It is a playoff game. And it's super cool that it's the last NFL game of the season, the regular season.
Well, that's a good point too. I didn't really consider it that way, but you're right.
You know what else is that day? It's Derrick Henry's birthday.
It is his
I hate that.
His 32nd birthday.
I really hate that.
We got to spoil Derrick Henry's 32nd birthday. I kind of dislike that too.
Right, I don't like that one bit.
But hopefully he'll be heading home on the plane. What'll be late Saturday or wee hours of Monday morning. Upset that his birthday didn't go according to plan. But that is, hey, if we're gonna jump right into it and kind of do the scene setter thing here, Matt, that feels like such a storyline. I do the quick hitters segments with our buddy Chad Tyson on DVEs on DVE on Fridays, and it's normally just like a 4 or 5 minute segment. It's not very long. And he asked me like a question or two. We get like 2 or 3 minutes into it, and then I'm like, you know what, though? We probably buried the lead because we're halfway through this bit and haven't said the name Derrick Henry.
No.
And I feel like that's the biggest, the most consequential player on the football field Sunday night might be Derrick Henry.
I would think.
If he plays well, the Ravens have a great chance to win. If the Steelers can limit him, there might be a direct parallel. And it doesn't always play out this simple, but it certainly could. Where, Monday morning, you look at that box score for Derrick Henry. And if it's high 20s carries, triple digits, touchdown or 2, you probably don't have a great chance to win. If it's
probably not true.
77 yards, 81 yards for Derrick Henry in that box score, you've probably got a pretty good chance to find yourself in a favorable position.
Because I think the number of carries is going to be there no matter what.
25.
I'd be really shocked. I mean, so they don't use him like Chris McCaffrey. There's times he's on the sideline for a long stretch, passing situations, third downs, etc. But this past week against Green Bay, he played a ton of third downs because they were always in like 3rd and 1.
Yes.
They were so ahead of the chains all the time in that game. If first down runs, second down runs were gaining 6, 7, 8 yards over and over and over. And that's what the Steelers need to stop. He's always dangerous if he can bust the 40-yarder and run away from people. But if they can stay ahead of the chains over and over and over and keep handing it to him, it's going to be a long day because eventually he's going to get his. But I do think no matter what, I don't think the Steelers are capable offensively of just like making this a Keaton Mitchell game where it's just going to be throw. But that also brings me to my bigger X factor. I don't think he's an X factor. I think we know what Henry is. I don't think you called him an X factor. But Lamar scares me more and more every second.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't missed any practice this week. Might we get MVP Lamar? He has not been at all.
That would shock me.
It would shock me too, but I just wonder, like, in the first series, be like, oh, I remember that guy. And the whole AFC would just gasp and be like, oh, no, he's back. That to me is a huge wild card is what version of the MVP do we get?
No doubt. And you're right. It's not an X factor. That's more of like a wild card or an unknown. Okay, can I be a little cynical for you for a minute then? If that's your worry, my shoe's on the other foot.
Okay.
As Matt shimmies and shakes, if you're watching on YouTube,
text from the boss.
Yeah,
It's in the wrong spot.
TV's got to keep you. TV's got to keep you fresh on the TV here.
I got 2 spots. I got this cam spot and I got this cam spot.
It all depends on where I'm sitting.
Right.
Like the famous
like
camera A, no camera B, and the anchor's looking the wrong way, and you're like, you could tell someone's screaming in their ear while they're trying to
pull
finish
back the
their
curtain
thought.
and tell people how we do things around here.
Absolutely. We show you how the sausage is made around these parts. Lamar Jackson, practice, full participant the entire week. That hasn't happened this season. Can I be a little cynical for you for a minute?
Oh, it could be terrible. Yeah, please, bring it on.
I think that's because some of the criticism that he's taken over the last couple weeks in Baltimore.
I think there's some of that too.
And this
is his teammates all of a sudden are stepping up and defending him like we're all attacking poor Lamar.
This is one of those. Yesterday, you and I gave the media, and when we say that label, it typically means the true beat reporter journalists, because like you and I are technically considered media. TV's technically considered media, but we're talking reporters who really break stories and that type of thing.
Like when we go to the Combine or Owners meeting, our tag says media.
Yes.
Yes. Or I'm sure if you're at game, it says media.
But there's a big difference between what you and I do and what Chris Adamski and Chris Halleck do and what Dale did and what Mike Pursuta does. You know, the Jerry Dulacs of the world, those type of people.
Writing a column every week, too. Old school Pittsburgh press.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And you got to get it into your editor by a certain time so it can make deadline.
Traveling on the train with Babe Ruth. And
I'm with the press, eh? I don't know why you always have to, you always got to throw in there when you're talking about old-timey news stuff for some reason. The cynical nature in my mind is kind of like, with the timing of the last couple weeks, some of these stories of Lamar's not great in team meetings and Lamar stays up too late playing video games. And they're really questioning his commitment to the team. It's always funny how those stories never come out when he's in the middle of a 13-win MVP season.
Nobody cares. It's the shower shoe narrative.
You're right. This is where, where yesterday we gave our media buddies some love. This is where maybe I'll give them some flack, some grief. Those stories always come out in tough times.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks that the only reason
he played videos when he was winning the MVP.
I bet 3 years ago when Lamar was lighting the league on fire, 2 years ago he was still playing video games.
Yes.
To me, I think some of what we've seen from him this week is a pushback to some of that. Like, oh, you want to talk about how I don't care? You want to talk about how I don't pay attention? I'm not good in team meetings. I stay up late playing video games. I'm going to be a full practice participant every single day this week ahead of our biggest game of the season.
Yeah.
I'm a little cynical when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I get it. I just don't think we have to worry about health anymore. I don't know what kind of player he is at this moment as currently constructed, but it scares me that he's not compromised.
Did he look
some way? I don't know.
Saturday night at Lambeau Field, do you think he's looked about as good as he looked all season?
Well, he didn't play in Lambeau.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, Huntley. That's what I mean. That's why I'm saying it, because
what was their game before that? I
can't remember if he played 2 weeks ago or not.
Okay.
I mean, Huntley started 2 games this year.
Yes, but I thought one was that one against the Bears all the way back in like October, right?
What? Patriots. Okay.
Thank you, TV.
So last we saw him, I thought he was getting more spry as a runner. You'd see some bursts here and there, because there was a stretch that he probably shouldn't have been out there. I mean,
sure.
People that think he's like not into the team or whatever, watch those games, because he shouldn't have been on the field to begin with, and he's out there trying to save their season and kind of being a detriment. But last we saw him, and I can't remember if that was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, the Patriot game, he was starting to move around pretty well before getting re-injured. That's what worries me, is now we have this unknown version of him. Sure. I wish I could have watched him last week and been like, man, he shouldn't have been out there. But now, is he healthy MVP guy, or if this game didn't matter, would he not have any chance of playing? You know what I mean? That's what I don't know. But in the first series, we might figure it out real quick.
It's a great kind of point to raise here in this scene-setting opening segment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the last time Lamar played was 2 weeks ago against the Patriots. 7 of 10 for 101 yards and 2 runs for 7 yards before exiting that game with Tyler Huntley taking over.
That's when he got hurt, isn't it? Right.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting point, because I'd forgotten completely that it was Huntley on Saturday at Lambeau.
Yeah. It's just revitalized and fresh.
I give him more credit in that regard than probably most, because he's still in his 20s. Mm-hmm. He's still, it's a little different than Aaron Rodgers, a 42-year-old and a fractured wrist, where know that even if you give him a week off, that's still going to, like he got in Chicago, that's still going to linger. That's still going to be.
But that week off did Rodgers some good.
Absolutely.
All right. And I want it to do Lamar some good.
I expect it will.
Yeah.
But to what extent? You're right. I mean,
I don't know.
That becomes a major part of this equation in Sunday Night Football. last game of the regular season between these two great rivals. Matt, Tyler and I were talking about this. It is going to be complete polar opposite ends of the spectrum of how we come in here on Monday afternoon.
No matter what.
No matter what.
I mean, yeah.
Steelers win, and it's like, hey, you're hosting a playoff game for the first time in 5-6 years.
Yeah.
A home playoff game.
Home playoff game.
Other than the COVID one against the Browns, which had 7,000 people. I mean, before that, it was the divisional round against the Jags all the way back in what I think that was was that the 18 season and would have been, no, sorry, it was the 17 season, and that game would have been in January of 2018.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been 8 years since you've hosted a playoff game with 67,000 terrible towels in full effect.
Sure, the whole week of prep and the tone of the drive all next week will be way different.
Versus, if we come in here Monday and the season's over, and how did they squander this opportunity?
This is their free agents to be, who's in the draft.
What's going on with the quarterback situation? What's going on with all this? Obviously, the conversation and the narrative around DK Metcalf and that suspension is how he might be the biggest Steelers fan on Sunday night for this team to
just be like, whoo,
to get it done so that story doesn't linger forever. But yeah, this is, and I told you this earlier in the week. I've spent this entire week kind of like bummed that this game means something.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to get the hat and T-shirts in Cleveland. You wanted to get the rest for all your veterans.
Which seemed very possible to pull off,
But now, as it gets very, very possible to pull off,
right.
You, in fact, probably still kicking yourselves that you didn't get it done. But now that this has happened, it's like I said, aside from the playoff games that these teams have played, this, you could argue, is right up there with any of them.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when the Steelers and Ravens play and it's on CBS at 4:30 and they're doing the pregame stuff, they're going to show clips from this game.
Probably.
Remember in 2026, Week 18, Steelers and Ravens, and it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, and it's going to be Derrick Henry, and they're going to show that quick little 60-second highlight package, and one of those teams with their, one of those coaches fist pumping as they walk off the field. The circumstances around it won't live as much in the time capsule as just the result of what happens on Sunday night. 10 years from now, when they're showing highlights of this game, they're not going to say, well, the Steelers had a chance to render that game irrelevant, and they blew it in Cleveland the week before. It's just going to be Week 18, Steelers-Ravens, Sunday night football for all the marbles.
Yeah.
And that's gonna live in the time capsule forever. And so that's putting a little pep in my step as we get closer and closer to Sunday night.
Like the national shows I do, and I was actually on Ross Tucker's podcast yesterday, and he was just.
I'm gonna go back and listen to that today. By the way,
yeah, it comes out today actually, or actually it might come out Saturday. Whatever, it comes out today or whatever. But he's like, I'm so psyched. All the national folks are like, oh, this is great. We didn't think we'd have many games to get excited about. We're gonna be waiting all day for Sunday night. You know what I mean? Because
imagine the world where the Steelers took care of business in Cleveland, and then the only two really meaningful NFL games this weekend are Panthers and Tampa.
Right.
Bucks and Panthers, and Seahawks and Niners just for seeding purposes. Yeah, for the other 30 teams around the NFL, and even 31 because you include Baltimore in this, they're thrilled that this is happening.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the only ones happy that it's a Sunday at 8:20, or they're the ones happy. We're the only ones unhappy that it's not a Sunday 1 o'clock game.
Any NFL fan of any capacity that's not a Steeler fan is thrilled about this. Right.
And a friend of ours, Matt, the legendary, iconic former voice of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the great Bill Hillgrove, I think he said it best. I wanted to play this clip for you at some point here in our scene-setting opening segment before we get to our friend Missi Matthews on the other side. Bill Hillgrove, of course, for 30 years was the voice of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think he said it best between these two teams, Baltimore and Pittsburgh, a few years ago when he was previewing this great AFC North rivalry.
That game should not be played on a Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Steelers-Ravens should be played in a dark alley at midnight.
Well, not quite midnight, but on Sunday Night Football, Week 18, 8:20 or 8:15, whatever the exact kickoff time is. It's going to be a lot of fun. I still wish it was Sunday at 1 o'clock and we had our hat and T-shirts, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, the fun and the stakes and all that are undeniable. Yeah.
It will either be a result that lives in happy memory time capsule for the decades, or it'll be a result that we harken back to in terms of frustration and disappointment and can't believe that that's how
the season ended.
The season ended.
Right.
2 dogs, 1 bone, 2 trains, 1 track. And joining us on the other side to continue the preview, someone who's been on the sideline for a lot of these big Steelers-Ravens games, Missi Matthews will help us set the scene and paint the picture as we continue to preview Pittsburgh and Baltimore. All of that and more as we roll along. Missi on the other side. Just getting started here on The Drive at Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. New year, same intro music. When you hear that bounce, you know it's time to talk to the queen of the sideline, Steelers sideline reporter, Missi Matthews, joining us as she's kind enough to do every Friday here on this program. To preview a big one, Missi, the Steelers and the Ravens have obviously played a lot of meaningful, impactful, huge, eyes of the nation type games, AFC Championship, playoff games. And this one, not quite that, but pretty close. Week 18, 2 dogs, 1 bone, 2 trains, 1 track. Is this perhaps, the most consequential regular season Steelers-Ravens game that you can remember, Missi?
I mean, it's starting to have that feel to it, I think, because of what it means to both teams, what the Ravens were thought of during the preseason, what their season was like, the Steelers going all in on Aaron Rodgers, changing over their roster. It does feel like that. It's not an AFC Championship type feel. Obviously, that one is a lot more at stake, but it does feel like, the fact that it's more common for these two teams to play 3 times a year instead of to be a do or die week 18 is pretty crazy, and I think just speaks to the rivalry and how similar the teams are as well.
So it's Friday. It's a new year. Are you over the Browns debacle and excited about this one, or is it still lingering with you?
Lingering a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard not to get over it because, you think Sunday night football or 1 o'clock football, big difference. Personally, professionally, all of the above. And, I think the big thing, too, is if they would have been playing at 1 o'clock on Sunday and had already clinched the North in Cleveland, then that guys would have got rest. And I think that's pretty
the key
huge,
to me.
especially
what you lost here is rest.
Right. And it's not like, you'd lose momentum. No, you have a lot of guys that just need rest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would have been clutch, but it didn't happen. And unfortunately, it's all hands on deck. Whoever's healthy is going to have to, put their best foot forward and go out there.
And 2 of those guys for me, Missi, Matt and I touched on this. I can't remember if it was yesterday or early in the week, whenever it was, but from a Steelers standpoint, you've got some guys like Aaron Rodgers. You got some guys like Cam Hayward, a little bit longer in the tooth, certainly closer to, the 18th green in the clubhouse than they are the front 9, of their careers, to use a golf analogy there. This feels like a moment in time where this is why you brought in Aaron Rodgers. This is why you have a veteran like Cam Hayward to get you over the line in games like this.
Yeah, I definitely think the Aaron Rodgers factor is real. We've seen him pull this team, not just the offense, out of things throughout the season that you were like, all right, this is why they coveted him so much. And I think that's maybe why the Cleveland game was so surprising of how it went down and not being able to score a touchdown, not even be able to score a defensive touchdown, which at that point felt more likely. I just think that he does have that mentality of, okay, yep, that game happened. It's over. We need to have a good week of prep and head into this game. And that's something that, instead of maybe some guys being down in the dumps about it and still mad, can turn the page quickly and help make whatever is wrong better. So hopefully that is, it's obviously his mentality. He's pretty much said that multiple times right after the game, even before. So if guys can follow that, that is hopefully a game plan that will work, because he typically is a rebounder when he has a stinky game, or however he put it earlier this week.
So, Missi, Patrick Queen won the Chief Award, and I'm curious, your interactions with him, how you see him on the sidelines, I mean, how you see him with the media, et cetera, et cetera. Tell us a little bit about PQ not on the field necessarily.
Well, he's a big fisher, loves to fish. I know whenever he came in the first time when they signed him in free agency, all he could talk about was the new boat he was going to buy,
Yeah.
his dad go, and, he even has like a small, I don't want to say it's like a bait shop along the line. I'm not very,
That's cool.
high up on my lingo of fisherman stuff.
Yep.
In his local town, because he said there wasn't places close by, and he just wanted to make sure that there was stuff for people who, had the same interest as him. And I'm not saying I'm always right, but I feel like a lot of times you can really read a player when they sign in free agency or after the draft of like who they are as a person. And he was definitely one of those guys where he walked in the room, and when he walked out, we were all like, he's awesome. Like, we're going to love
cool.
him. And I totally get why he won the Chief Award. I mean, it's, the ups and downs of a season, and he is one that will talk all the time. And he's even, one of those guys, some people, and I respect it as well, will say, okay, I already talked. PQ is like, whatever. Yeah, come on. Like, I'll take a shower after this one, and then he'll come back out and he'll talk to other people. So he definitely has that media savviness. And it's not fake. It's just genuine, like, hey, you guys have a job. We have a job. We were good at our job, or we were bad at our job, and I'm willing to talk about it with you.
And his exuberance is on the sidelines as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
I thought
PQ
so.
is loud.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He definitely, if he has a thought, he's sharing it. He definitely brings that high energy, everything that you would kind of want in your defensive quarterback in terms of communication. I feel like maybe sometimes, Cam or somebody is telling him to tune it down a little bit, but good communicator, really just all around great guy too.
No doubt. And Matt and I discussed it a little bit yesterday, but I think there is something to be said for, that guy that stands up and faces the music when times are good, when times are bad, doesn't try and shy away from it, but instead leans into it. He deserves a lot of credit for that. And he's certainly going to be a big part of the equation on Sunday night against his former team, Missi, and slowing down, I almost said former teammate, but I guess him and Derrick Henry never played together in Baltimore. But we all saw what King Henry was able to do up at Lambeau Field, the hallowed historic grounds of Lambeau in Green Bay on Saturday night, Missi. 36 carries for a career high and one of the better games of his career, which is saying something for how many amazing performances he's had. Matt pointed this out. He actually turns 32 on Sunday. It's his birthday.
I don't like that one bit.
Oh, God. I don't like that at all.
I don't like it one bit.
Missi,
we're not getting him a birthday cake from Oakmont Bakery.
No, that's exactly right. He's not getting Oakmont Bakery. He'll be lucky if we get him like a tasty cake from Sheets or Gecko or something. But is it, Matt and I talked about this a little bit to start. I know it can be simple because there's so many X factors, key players in this game. But to me, I think we'll be able to there'll be a real correlation Monday morning of what Derrick Henry's stat line looks like and what the outcome of this game ends up being.
Yeah, I do think so. And I feel like obviously that's how the Steelers have had success against him. Even when he was with the Titans, if he has under 100 yards rushing, they're 5-0. If he has over 100, as we know, maybe over 200, getting close to that, they're 0-2. And their offense, clearly it does not matter who the quarterback can run through him. And, even their OC was joking this week how at one point Derrick Henry was like, guys, like, I'm tired. Can I get a breather? And they're like, no, get back out there. Like, we need to run more clock. And he has that endurance to do those types of things. So I definitely, for sure, I don't think it's a secret the Steelers are going to want to stop the run first and foremost in order to, test Lamar. Everyone's talking about he's the healthiest he's been in, X amount of months and this and that, and he's practiced every day this week. He still has to go out there and perform. And obviously, if you can stop Derrick Henry, you can force Lamar into bad decisions, hopefully.
So the other side of the ball wasn't real hard to figure out schematically why the Steelers struggled, and the Metcalf absence was felt a great deal. And now Washington's not going to be around for this game. Metcalf's not returning. Would you expect more targets to go to Freiermuth, Gainwell, some of those type of guys?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Obviously, Gainwell gets his targets, whether it's carries or whatnot.
Mhm.
I do hope that Pat Freiermuth is more involved in the game plan and somebody that they can utilize as a zone killer, as Coach Tomlin always calls him. And just the things he's able to do, he's reliable. He can stretch the field a little bit. Obviously, you can have him in there kind of in the Darnell Washington sense of he can help you in your run game with blocking. He's not Darnell by any means, but he still has that capability. It's something that, was kind of a knock on him when he came out of the draft, but it is something he has really worked on since coming here to Pittsburgh. So I think using him a lot more would be helpful for a number of reasons. And, you obviously know DK won't be there. You hope maybe Calvin Austin can go, but obviously no Darnell Washington, which really stinks.
Plenty to contemplate here, as always, from our friend, the great queen of the sideline, Missi Matthews. Hear her on the call Sunday night with Rob King and Max Starks on the Steelers Audio Network, DVE, your Steelers flagship, all those great places. Missi, thank you for the time, as always. Take care, and we'll talk to you this weekend.
All right, guys. Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, as always. There she goes, the great Missi Matthews, queen of the sideline, and a big one on tap Sunday night for the Steelers and the Ravens, and it'll be a charged up radio crew there, I bet you.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, Matt Williamson will be ready on Sunday night. And I know I've told you this before in TV and everything, and I'm sure I've even shared this on the show. Things at times can get a little mundane. It can get a little, routine. Like we all do this, and we're fortunate to do this for a living. But at the same time, it's still work, as much fun as it is, and we're not swinging hammers and laying concrete and crunching numbers and cubicles, but it can still feel like work at times.
Yeah.
But man, at about 8 o'clock on Sunday night, when that AC/DC is cranking at Acrisure and the sun's down and it's dark and the towels are waving.
Flying, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what we play for. It is. As much as we would like this game to mean nothing and be at 1 o'clock and get that rest, it is obviously a huge opportunity to write a story that will kind of live in the history of this organization and this fan base and this rivalry here at home on Sunday night. Got to take a break here.
I might have to make a rule real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
We only have 4 more segments of the regular season now, I think of it.
Wow, that's true.
We might not be allowed to say anymore, I wish this was a rest week. I wish it was at 1.
Okay, we're done now?
It's time to look
That's it.
forward. Right,
You're
right.
right.
We
I
all
like
know
that
these
rule.
things. We've talked
That's
about it
good.
all week. I mean, we all know exactly where that is. No more of that.
No crying over spilled milk, right?
It happens in the books.
It's in the books. It's done. You can't change it. All you can do is focus on the next opportunity, and it is a huge opportunity for the Steelers. Matt, the Steelers have named a team MVP that we will discuss when we return on the other side. Also, we got to kick around a couple thoughts on the college football playoff now that we're into the semifinal.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff.
And seeing some of these quarterbacks that we've been talking about all year on a big stage. We'll do that as we close down the first hour when we return on the other side with our new rule, all eyes on Sunday. Uhler, Williamson, it's the Steelers Audio Network. Closing down the first hour here of the drive on this Friday as we are looking ahead to the final regular season game and a massive one against the Baltimore Ravens. With that, Matt, we started discussing some team awards and things like that. Yesterday, you mentioned Patrick Queen, Chief Award winner, Derek Harmon, Joe Green Performance Award winner as the Steelers Rookie of the Year. We also know now the team MVP has been named, and it is none other than running back Kenneth Gainwell, named your team MVP for the 2025 season, voted by his teammates. Matt, when the Steelers signed him to a 1-year deal this past offseason and went out and drafted Caleb Johnson in the 3rd round, and I think they had picked up Jalen Warren's contract or something like that.
Yeah, they put 2 more years on his. You're right.
I don't think any of us envisioned this type of season for Kenneth Gainwell. It's surprising, but I can't say it's undeserved. I mean, it's a real testament to the year that he has had to be voted by his teammates as MVP, and I don't think any of us would have guessed this back in July or August.
Well, congrats to him. I mean, he's had a tremendous year as both a runner and receiver, And when we talk about like Gainwell's year, I always go back to that Dublin game because I remember the pregame. It's like, okay, Warren's not going to go. Johnson certainly doesn't look ready. And I was asked a couple times, what are they going to do at running back? What are they going to do at running back? And I thought, well, maybe they'll just take Caleb Johnson, throw him right in the deep end, and say, this is why we drafted you. We're going to give you the ball a bunch, Instead, they gave it to Gainwell. And I really thought that was a one-off for him to just be a true bell cow for one day. But then they just kept giving him more and kept giving him more and more, and really every step of the way. So congrats to him. Frankly, I don't think he's the most valuable member of the football team, but so be it.
Sure.
I mean, I probably would give it to Rodgers or Cam at this point, but there's a lot of pretty equal candidates considering how the season's gone.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
There's not a T.J. Watt playing at a defensive player of the year level.
Exactly.
There's not a Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, all pro level performer on the offensive side of the football. I think you're right. I think there's probably 4 or 5 different guys that you can make a legitimate good faith argument for.
I bet a lot of guys got votes.
And you're right in like kind of the definition of the thing.
Yeah.
It takes a lot for a running back to be your most valuable player.
But they probably don't look at it that way.
No,
They're not
they
team building and don't draft a running back in round one. Yeah.
And Ben only won this thing once. He obviously, just by merit, should have won it more than one time.
And but maybe he said, "Why don't you vote for?"
I wonder if there was some of that from Aaron Rodgers too.
Maybe,
of
maybe,
like,
right.
Let's vote. Let's give this to somebody else. And
it's a great honor.
It's a great honor.
Rodgers has had a lot of honors. I'd love Kenneth to get it.
Sure,
maybe. I don't know.
Even someone like Cam, who this would mean a lot to him at this stage in his career. Like, he's been an All-Pro multiple times,
and
Pro
he knows
Bowler
what the
multiple
team
times.
Thinks of him, and
he's Walter Payton Man of the Year, which other than being a Super Bowl champion or an MVP is right up there with the biggest honors
highly
you could
coveted,
get in the National Football League.
I'm not diminishing what Gainwell did. It's just,
I know what you mean.
It took me aback a little, though.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, really? I hadn't thought of that, but I kind of get it.
Like, if the second that I walked in this door today, you were like, team MVP got announced, who do you think it was? I would have said Aaron Rodgers, and you would
probably would have came up with 5 or 6
you
names
said
before
nope.
I got there. Yeah,
and then I would have said Cam Hayward, and you would have said nope, and then I would have been like,
maybe Ramsey is a new addition, or
my first thought would have been
Frazier
like
was really
Chris Boswell,
good,
but yeah,
right,
yeah.
it was an O lineman, or and it's not Boz this year. It's a strange one.
It's a strange one, but it's a testament to
Porter
Kenny
was
G.
really good.
Porter was really good, yeah. And I think even more so, Matt, just it shows what he means in that locker room. Because this is voted on by your teammates.
That's my biggest
and
takeaway.
That's the biggest takeaway, I think, is they really respect this guy's skill set, his work ethic, and what he's meant to this team this year. Yeah,
and I don't want to have these conversations today. Again, we're running out of real estate in the regular season, but bringing him back makes a lot of sense too. Maybe this goes a long way to him saying, "I want to come back."
I think so. And hey, maybe that's even part of it. But yeah, that'll be something that we will certainly discuss when
his
we get
role
to the
this weekend's big, though.
Huge.
He ended up chipping Myles Garrett probably more than they would have wanted. That doesn't mean he can't catch passes, but I bet they design more stuff for him in the passing game. True slot stuff, things like that. Yeah,
I'm hoping that's the case.
Me too. And like we mentioned with Missi, I really think it has to be a Freiermuth game.
It has to. And that's clear to me, Matt. If you're listening, asking me to go up to the grease board and write down who gets the most touches.
Yeah.
Who's going to eat the most on this offense Sunday night?
Where are we divvying up the football?
I think I go Warren 1,
yeah,
Freiermuth 2, Kenneth Gainwell 3. And then there's a clear.
Then I don't know who's next.
There's a clear, I think, top trio, and like those 3 are on the podium.
Those 3 are going to be the
whoever
guys
gets the
touching the
gold, the silver, the bronze. Okay, we can split hairs, but I want those 3 on the podium Sunday night.
I think so too, because I think, frankly, Austin's a bit of a wild card, but I mean, those are the guys getting the football. I mean, I guess I could picture a world where Thielen gets 8 targets, but not if they play a lot of man coverage. That's more of a zone beater type guy. Mm-hmm. You run out of guys pretty quick. No Washington. I'm sure Jonnu Smith will get a carry or 2 and a target or 2 or a screen or 2, but I would much rather feed Freiermuth.
Agreed. And that's something we'll talk a little bit more about specifically when we do a little 5-Star Friday here to kick off hour number 2 and talk some matchup specific developments. Matt, Yeah, so that kind of does it for the Kenneth Gainwell. Just wanted to make sure to mention. I mean, obviously, it's team MVP. It's significant news. First offensive team MVP for the Steelers since 2018. Now, it's been T.J. Watt 5 of the last 6 years.
I say he's dominated, as he should.
Which makes a ton of sense. But if you would have asked, this is another one of those, like if I walked in the door today and you were like, who won team MVP? Would have taken me a few guesses to get there. Mm-hmm. Who was the last Steelers offensive team MVP? It was Juju Smith-Schuster back in 2018. I might have guessed AB or Ben.
Oh, wow, yeah. I wouldn't have come up with that one.
Or somebody like that. But Juju had a monster season, obviously, in 2018.
Was that his second year?
That was his second year.
Yeah, okay.
That was the year that him and AB both had outstanding years. He actually had more receiving yards than AB that year. And that was the last year.
Super young, too. He was like 20 years old at that point.
Yes, right? Yes. That was the last year that AB and Lev Bell were members of the Pittsburgh Steelers as well, and Juju was still able to win that award after an outstanding sophomore campaign. Speaking of outstanding campaigns, how about the Indiana Hoosiers, Matt Williamson? How's that for a transition for you?
Pretty dominant showing.
I'm locked into Mendoza #1 now.
Oh, I think so.
I don't think there was
That's
much.
A done deal.
I don't think there was much left, but after what he's done in these last 2 games, there was some of that. Okay, as he really played the greatest competition, and yeah, they went to Oregon and won earlier in the season, but he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't outstanding in that game either. But after what he did to an Ohio State defense that, in the Big Ten championship game, that's going to have 2 or 3 guys drafted in the first round alone on it.
With a lot of NFL concepts from a former NFL defense coordinator, too.
And kind of same thing with Alabama here. I mean, I expected Indiana to win, but 38-3, Matt. I mean,
it seemed like it was over at the end of the first quarter. It's like, this is not even close. And I did not see that coming at all.
I didn't see that coming at all. And it's an incredible testament to Curt Cignetti and that IU program. And to Mendoza. I think they are certainly the team to beat, without a doubt. And if they finish
especially with Ohio State no longer in the mix, I would think
Georgia's out of the equation.
Right.
I mean, Oregon is going to be a big game, and that's who they've got in the semifinal. But man, I came away from that just crazy impressed by IU. And Mendoza, I mean, he only threw the ball 16 times, but 14 of 16 for 192, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, and then 16 yards on the ground with his legs, too, to earn a couple first downs and
some nice
things like that.
I mean,
some really nice tight window throws. Listen, a lot can happen between now and the end of April when when Roger Goodell will read that first overall pick, just a few miles from where you and I sit right now.
But I'll be shocked if Moore beats him and goes crazy? That to me is like the only way that it's
a fair point.
That changes, right?
And again, a lot can change between now and then, but
he's by far the odds-on favorite to go first.
He is he's got to be,
especially if the Raiders are picking.
Right. I think that makes a ton of sense, and it will be Indiana against Oregon on January 9th here in a few days, here in about 7 days.
Quick college question for you: if I gave you Indiana or the field to win it all, who would you take now? Like, definitely you would have taken the field a couple days ago.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, Ohio State was still alive, and
Oh, man.
You think that's about a 50-50 proposition?
I think that's about a 50-50 proposition. I think Oregon's very good.
Yeah.
Not that Miami and Ole Miss aren't.
Sure.
But this Oregon-Indiana game kind of feels like that.
But I think Indiana's pretty happy about some of the teams that got eliminated, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ohio State and Georgia, I mean, being out is like, again, you're not looking at Miami and Ole Miss like that's an easy matchup, but I think if you're Indiana,
if you're deep in the college playoffs, that's kind of an easy matchup. History
sure.
shows. That's right.
It's like we get to play Oregon at a neutral site, who we beat at their stadium, albeit that was a few months ago. It's not like that was recently.
But it wouldn't shock you if Oregon wins this game, right?
No. Indiana's a 4-point favorite.
Okay,
to open. I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, I knew they'd be favored, but I didn't think it'd be a touchdown.
This though, and did not exist, but we can go here. You know how we've said with Buffalo a few times, like, it's not their best team, but it's kind of starting to feel like it might be lining up to be their year.
Best year, yeah.
Feeling that a little bit for Oregon. I
can see that. Okay.
They beat Texas Tech 23-0. That game could have been 50-0 if Texas Tech's defense didn't play the way that they did.
Okay.
It was 6-0 Oregon at halftime. Oregon had run like 44 plays. Texas Tech had run like 13.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Texas Tech turned the ball over twice.
Yeah.
The yardage difference. I mean, it was that whole time of possession and all that stuff that we talk about
looming
to the
heavily.
nth degree.
Yeah.
And 23-0 is a blowout, but I mean, it could have been 48-0.
It really wasn't a competitive game. Yeah.
Oregon, didn't have to play in the Big Ten championship, which in a weird way was almost a benefit for Ohio State last year. Like Ohio State last year had to sit there and watch Oregon and Penn State play for the Big Ten championship, and they got to lick their wounds, and they got to sit there and kind of stew and be angry and prepare for that game. And then Ohio State went and blew out Oregon.
Yeah.
It's kind of what Oregon did.
I
Oregon
see what
was,
you're saying.
despite being one of the best teams in the country, top 5 in the country, they sit home and watch Indiana and Ohio State play the national championship game. They get to lick their wounds. They get that messaging from their coaching staff for 3 weeks of like you guys are better than this. You guys are, and they go out there and they made Texas Tech's offense look like it was the first day of summer practice. I mean, they could not get anything going.
And maybe you mentioned this, but a lot of people, or at least I've heard, say next year is Oregon's year.
I think so.
But maybe
now,
they're ahead of schedule.
What happens with the quarterback is obviously a big part of that.
Yeah, yeah.
I think now Dante Moore's going to the NFL.
It doesn't seem like there's much competition at the top of the draft.
Just because
if you can be a top 5 pick, you should go.
If you're his agent and you're like, you're going to be a top 5 pick, at worst, you'll be 7th or 8th.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
a
like
lot of teams have to pass on quarterback.
How much better can you really get, by staying another year? But Oregon's a relatively young roster for where they're at here. And if Dante Moore leaves, they'll go and get Sam Levitt or DJ Lagway or one of these big names out of the portal. Absolutely. And I really think next year Oregon could be even better. But yeah, we'll talk about these games as we get closer and closer. But whoever wins that Oregon-Indiana game, and I don't mean this is disrespect to Ole Miss and Miami because I think they're both very good, but that's starting to feel like the de facto
leader in the clubhouse,
championship game.
That Georgia Ole Miss game was fun though.
I was gonna say, if I was wearing a hat, like to use the Heinz Ward line, you got to take your hat off and give it to him. Ole Miss, for everything that happened with Lane Kiffin and all the uncertainty there. Okay, they beat Toledo at home in the first round. Okay, but for them to go and play like that was
Toledo's Tulane, right?
Tulane. Sorry, yes, you're right, Tulane. Holy Toledo.
Right.
For them to go and beat Toledo, which was I just did it again. For them to go and beat Tulane, which was a team that they already played earlier this season, familiar with all that stuff at home. Okay, fine.
Clearly more talented.
Yeah. Tulane had lost their coaching staff too, so you were kind of on level footing in that regard but for them to do what they that was not
almost everybody picked Georgia.
That was not a fluke win. Georgia turned the ball over. Georgia played poorly.
Right.
I mean, that was won. 2 good teams lining up, and Ole Miss outlasted them and kicked that field goal at the end to win it. And I don't know if you saw this, but Ole Miss's athletic director actually caught the field goal in the end zone.
Really?
And he's like, Keith Davis, I think is his name. All the credit in the world to that. Like, you lose Lane Kiffin, now you've won 2 playoff games, and you're in the semifinal.
Yeah, the times are good.
He's got to be the happiest athletic director in the country. But huge win for Ole Miss and Trinidad Chambliss, man.
He's going to be more of a conversation, that's for sure.
I think his conversation is going to be, do I stay at Ole Miss and get a huge amount of money?
Well, there's a chance he doesn't give. Isn't there something pending as
there
we
is,
speak?
There is something because he played the D2 route. He went the D2 route and then transferred, and all that's up in the air now. Like Diego Pavia, the Vanderbilt quarterback. I don't know how familiar you are with him.
No,
but
I know.
he was able to challenge the NCAA and get an extra year of eligibility this year because they ruled that his year in JUCO didn't count. Or towards his NCAA out. So there is a lot up in
we're weird world.
It's a very And as I was complaining about with you and TV earlier in this week in college basketball, now we have a guy going from the New York Knicks back to Baylor. It's just
want to go down that road.
It's such a weird world. But Trinidad Chambliss is going to be one to keep an eye on, and certainly want to see him against that Miami defense in the semifinal. And Miami. We talked about this a little bit yesterday because that game had. Or wait, am I getting my timeline confused? We talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah. We talked about that one a little bit yesterday. But Miami with a impressive performance against Ohio State. So you get Oregon, Indiana. You get Ole Miss, Miami. Matt, all 4 quarterbacks could be in the draft.
Yeah, they're relevant.
Will be in the draft at some point. All 4 quarterbacks relevant. A ton of first-round picks on both rosters. Worth keeping an eye on.
When is that game?
Both
those games?
January 8th is Ole Miss Miami, and then January 9th is Indiana, Oregon.
Okay.
So it will be next Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday.
Yes.
Gotcha.
To lead into the wild card weekend.
Yeah, and we'll have a really good stretch there. No,
Thursday,
real good
Thursday,
stretch.
Friday,
Thursday,
college
Friday,
football games,
Saturday,
and then Saturday,
yep.
Sunday, Monday, NFL wild card.
Oh,
games.
there's Monday and wild card weekend.
So
I don't love that, but
same.
yeah.
But sorry to my wife, it's her birthday next weekend, but
yeah, what are you gonna do?
husband's gonna be pretty busy. Hour in the books, another hour to go. Matt, let's jump back into Steelers in Baltimore when we return on the other side with a little 5-Star Friday as we talk some matchup specifics in this Steelers-Ravens clash. We'll do all of that and more in hour number 2. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How you doing? I guess check back Monday?
Yeah, yeah.
Hour number 2 here of The Drive. Our show of the regular season. Just 3 segments left. Man, Matt, I swear we were just in Latrobe yesterday.
I know.
Getting this thing going. It is amazing how fast, July to January flies every single year with training camp, the end of summer, back to school, holiday season, all that stuff. And it's like it's a mad dash. And all of a sudden, here we are. Staring down a season finale with everything on the line against the Baltimore Ravens. And I want to talk a little matchup-centric stuff with you here. A little thing that we do called 5-Star Friday.
We're humbled and excited to be in these 5-star matchups.
5-star matchup. Somebody leaving here with a loss. Not going to be us.
Better not be us, or else. We'll worry about that Monday. Matt, so much of this, we're going to talk a couple specifics here, but so much of this centers around Derrick Henry, obviously.
Oh, sure.
And, our buddy Bob Labriola sends us like this research packet every week about the matchup. And some of the stuff that Derrick Henry has accomplished this year is just insane. Players with the most seasons with at least 10 rushing touchdowns in NFL history. He now tied Adrian Peterson. He did this in week 13.
I know.
Tied Adrian Peterson for second most in league history. Only LaDainian Tom and Emmitt Smith. Tied AP and Emmitt Smith for second most, 8 seasons with 10 or more rushing touchdowns. Only LaDainian Tomlinson has more with 9.
It's crazy, right?
Players with the most consecutive seasons with at least 10 rushing touchdowns. He's second in that regard, too, behind only LaDainian Tomlinson. Players with the most seasons with at least 12 rushing touchdowns in the NFL. He's tied with LaDainian Tomlinson for first overall at 7. Most games in NFL history for a running back with at least 2 rushing touchdowns. LaDainian Tomlinson, number 1, Hall of Fame. Emmitt Smith, number 2, Hall of Fame. Derrick Henry, number 3.
And they had longer careers.
They had longer careers,
played more games, right?
And players with the most games with at least 200 rushing yards in NFL history. So most games with 200 or more yards. After last week, Derrick Henry now stands alone with the most
1, right?
in NFL history, 7, passing the tie that he had to break that tie with Adrian Peterson. And I'm sorry, I just can't say his name without chuckling a little bit, O.J. Simpson.
Wow.
His
career stuff's crazy. He's
it's unbelievable.
Going up the all-time touchdown list and all-time rushing yards list, and his January stuff is way better than anyone in history.
Unbelievable.
I mean, he's like at 102 yards per game after November. I mean, and no one else is even at 100. I mean, and people are in the high 90s. So this is not time you want to face him. He's coming off one of his best games ever. Maybe he's not quite as dynamic as he was in his prime,
sure,
but he's still a huge problem.
He's a massive problem.
Yeah.
And with just 31 rushing yards against the Steelers, he will join Barry Sanders as the only 2 players in NFL history with 5 career seasons with at least 1,500 rushing yards. He currently has 1,469. So needs just 31 to tie Barry Sanders as the only 2 to do something.
I mean, all the
NFL
names
history.
you just mentioned that he's compared to.
They're either
they're the best.
all-time Hall of Famers or someone like Adrian Peterson, who's going to be a Hall of Famer pretty soon.
Yeah, and say what you want about OJ, I think he's like one of the most underrated running backs ever.
Yes.
I mean, in terms of the who's on the field.
If you stay in between, if you stay in between the white lines,
yeah,
he was unbelievable.
And for a while there, before last week, Henry getting to 1,500-ish was kind of quiet. Like he wasn't winning your fantasy leagues
Right.
or, but he's inevitable, though.
Consistency.
Yeah, it's consistency. Yeah.
So, Matt, what's it look like for the Steelers? How do you go about slowing down, limiting, whatever the term is, because you're not going to shut this guy down.
No.
But what's the onus? What's the game plan? If you're running the defensive meetings, what are some things that you're highlighting that we have to do to this guy to not let him run wild like he did last week at Lambeau?
The book's easy. It's just making it happen is hard. It's making him chop his feet, not get to full speed at the line of scrimmage, get penetration.
Sure.
Is
hit him in the backfield.
Yes, or make him change direction. He's not the best change direction back compared to Tomlinson and OJ and all those guys too. But once he gets, like Greg Cosell calls those guys a track back. Like when you get on the train tracks,
watch out.
Stopping the locomotive's no fun, but he's not going to be real wiggly compared to great backs.
Sure, compared to a Jameer Gibbs.
Yeah,
even LaDainian Tomlinson, who we were talking about
being
there.
6'3", 245, he's got pretty good wiggle. But, still, that's definitely how it needs to be done. Now, this brings me back to the thing I was talking about with Lamar, though, too, is last year we saw 2 games against those two at the height of their power. And one game they on like the zone read stuff, they focused on Henry. Okay, and Lamar had a big game.
Sure.
And then they focused on Lamar, and Henry had a big game. And there really is no answer if they're running that zone read thing, because then all of a sudden Jackson's legs are much more important than they have been the last couple months.
Totally.
So that worries me right away. Like if they're calling a lot of the zone read stuff and he's keeping it and everyone's crashing on Henry and there goes Lamar for 12 and then skirts out of bounds, like, this could be – that doubles your problem.
That's
in the
how
run
you get
game.
into a long night.
Yeah, it doubles your problem in the run game. I would be shocked, though, if the Steelers are as less if they were as non-competitive as the Packers were. That defense should be ashamed of themselves for a lot of that, and they turned down a lot that I don't think the Steelers will. I also think you'll probably, if we start talking tactics, I bet there's going to be a lot of snaps where Zay Flowers is the only receiver on the field. There's one receiver on the field. Ricard's playing more and more. They're going to play with a lot of tight ends. So I think you're going to see a lot of
Andrews and Likely.
Yeah, and actually Kolar's playing a lot too because he's their best blocker. So he's actually got more. I think he had more snaps than Likely or Andrews against the Packers. And they also had the lead, and they're pounding you with their big people. But Ricard, they're playing old school Ricard in the eye as like the lead fullback. Usually he's a move piece, but it's like no mystery at all.
Yeah, it's not traditional 13 personnel.
No,
but it's a similar type of
but they're
idea.
gonna have we're going to say this on both sides of the ball. I think that this is going to be. I mentioned I was on with Ross, who's a former offensive lineman, and we were kind of giggling like it's his kind of game. It's like there's going to be so many big people on the field.
Yes.
Like I wish Washington was out there because
Totally.
One more big guy. It's one big guy you're short on offense, but I expect there to be huge people on the field, and I think the Steelers are probably going to play a fair amount of snaps with only 3 defensive backs on the field, and that doesn't happen very much in this league.
No,
now Duggar's a pretty big-bodied guy.
Sure.
But you might be taking Pierre or Samuel off the field, and Porter's running around with Flowers and 2 safeties. Because things they've done against the Ravens more than other teams is they'll bring the extra linebacker in, whether it's an outside guy, Herbig or Watt in this case, or Harrison.
Yeah.
I bet you see a fair amount of extra front 7 people. It's just going to be a big person
game.
Yeah.
Heavy box.
Yeah.
Hat on hat.
Exactly, right.
Physicality. Like Bill Hillgrove said, in an alleyway, right?
Yeah.
Fist fight in the parking lot type of football game from these teams.
One thing I'll touch on, too. So there's a lot of matchups here that scare you.
Sure.
Henry's a handful.
Lamar. The tight end.
Lamar's a wild card.
We talked about Zay Flowers yesterday.
And really even on the other side of the ball, which I know we'll get to, who's going to beat man coverage? Who's going to make plays for you? But what I keep coming back to when I think about this game more and more is so much in Ravens, Steelers, or playoff football, or this time of year comes down to who's better on the line of scrimmage.
Totally.
The Steelers are better on both lines of scrimmage. And I think it's pretty substantial right now. Like,
hard to argue on the defensive front from Baltimore's standpoint without Metabuke, where they were already light in that regard and then lost probably their most significant contributor.
Because I think the O-line's by far in the best spot it's been all year.
The Steelers O-line?
Yes.
I would agree.
I would love to have Washington in this game.
And the Ravens' offensive line isn't a disaster, but it's also not what it's been in the past.
Especially the guards. Yeah. And Linderbaum's a really good player, but if he's not going to deal with Cam's bull rush. I mean, he's an undersized movement, leverage dude. And the tackles are okay. But, I mean, I really think if both lines of scrimmage distinctly favor the Steelers, more than we've talked about all week. And
that's encouraging.
Yeah. I mean, because, again, you'd love to have the best quarterback or Henry or blah, 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 but I might take being better on the line of scrimmage for this game, for this type of battle.
Fist fight in the parking lot, baby.
Right. So I was listening to a podcast on the way here, and I just wanted to put this in perspective for people. So Brandon Thorne, to me, is the best media O-line guru out there. You Google him if you want. I've talked to him a couple times. He's really, really good. There's not a lot of O-line specialists out there.
Max Starks is a fan of his, too. So
I bet.
I'm going to go ahead and take both of your words for it.
Okay. And the other name, who's not as much in media, but you'll hear him here and there, is Duke Manyweather. And
he does like the Center Summit, doesn't he? Is that
O-line Masterminds?
O-line Masterminds
is this new thing now that it's O-line convention. All the coaches are there. Yep. He runs it. Yep. He trains guys in the offseason.
For some reason, I thought it was only centers, but it's the entire offensive line.
It's the entire O-line Masterminds, I think, is the name of his company. But anyways, Brandon and Duke do a podcast once a year, and it came out this morning, and it's their all-pro team. And they go 3 deep at every position. And they don't just pick 3 tackles. They go 3 left tackles.
So
they're real nerdy about it.
Sure.
They're real nerdy about it.
It'd be like Wolf would love listening to it.
Oh, they'd love it. I mean, I'm going to mention it to Max next time I see him, because if he hasn't, he'll love it too.
Yeah.
And they go into depths. I mean, there's some dudes you wouldn't think about.
It's like 400 level football conversation, PhD level football conversation.
It's the best O-line conversation you could listen to out there. Like, they took Peter Skoronski from the Titans as their number 1 left guard. You wouldn't think
not
of him in that way.
Not many people around the league would do that.
They're paying that attention to. Or their number 1 center was Aaron Brewer, who we talked about from Miami.
Yeah.
Who's been phenomenal. But my point is, there were no Ravens on the list. But they went 3 deep at center. They went Brewer 1. They went Creed Humphrey 2. And they went Frazier.
Nice.
And they felt very strong about it. They said, these are definitely the 3. Number 4 is a distant 4th.
Can we get some of those guys in the NFC, please, so my guy Zach can start getting some recognition?
Yeah. But at right tackle, I thought this was really interesting too. They're the biggest Lane Johnson fans on the planet.
Real quick, sorry. Did they do it just 3, or did they do 3 for AFC, 3 for NFC?
No, 3 period.
3 period. Okay.
3 period. So Lane Johnson missed a lot of time, so they picked Penei Sewell as their number 1 right tackle. But they said, I can't leave Lane off. They said Lane's the best offensive lineman on the planet right now, but he only played like 8 games. So we're going to make him team 2, but out of respect. I mean,
he's had an incredible career.
Faltani was a 3.
Wow.
I mean, these are conversations we're
they're
starting to have with these guys.
They're not tied to the Steelers.
No, not at all. And that 3rd right tackle spot wasn't easy. There was guys like Wright from the Bears.
Darnell Wright, yep.
That they like a lot too. And there's a lot of good right tackles right now. But this is the light these guys are in. And, Duke was even like, this is Troy's rookie year.
Right.
Let's not forget that.
And it's only Zach's sophomore season.
Exactly, right. They're both drafted the same year, but Troy didn't get to really play,
And not to toot our own horns, but one of the predictions that you made, we made, both of us, at the beginning of the season was that by the end of the year, the rest of the football world would be calling Zach Frazier and Troy Faltanu stars. I still have that.
Smart ones are.
I still have that in my notes from August with some of the other predictions that we made that we'll revisit at some point in the offseason. But that's great to see. That's a massive development.
And that's why I wanted to give these guys resumes, because I trust them more than anybody.
Yes.
Like they picked Jonah Jackson from the Rams. No one's like, who's Jonah Jackson from the Rams? I'm like, no, he's one of the best guards in the league.
They're not just picking pretty names and giving some fluff credit to them. It's like real.
No,
it's real offensive
like I'm just
line
look
dorks.
At Pro Football Focus or any of that kind of stuff.
It's real offensive line dorks who know the positions and grind the tape. But
back to this game, I think the trenches greatly favor the Steelers.
Well, that's great then, and let's use that to kind of piggyback to the other side of the football where, Matt, I don't think, like, sometimes in these matchup segments there's some unknown, some uncertainty.
Yeah.
This, to me, is pretty straightforward. I don't think you're going to have the receivers to win very often against the Ravens' talented secondary.
No.
This has to start with winning in the trenches and winning at that second linebacker level for the Steelers' run game.
So I tweeted this, I saw it this morning, that the Ravens played their highest percentage of man coverage all year in the first meeting.
Interesting.
And Metcalf had a bunch of explosives, and he made him pay for it.
He did.
Nobody else really did.
3 big explosive catches.
Nobody else really did.
Right.
But he really did. And then the Browns doubled down. That's what they do. And we should have been stronger on that last week. There's some hindsight here. But that was an awful matchup for a Metcalf-less passing game because you're playing right into their hands. Like, who's my man beaters here?
You're playing into their strength without your biggest
without your biggest
piece.
Can make them pay for it. And thus, what do you think's going to happen Sunday night? You know, the Ravens are going to play a ton of man.
Run it back.
And they're going to run it back, and they're going to do what they did before. I think it was like 48%, which is a really high percentage of man for this league. They may be at 60 in this game. You know, like no one's like 100%. You know, I mean, it doesn't work that way. But, and I don't think all of a sudden the Steelers created a bunch of new man beaters from the wide receiver position. So it's going to be tough sledding.
Yes.
Now, I don't think they're as good at playing man single high as the Browns are. They're not. I mean, they don't have Ward. It's not as much what they do. But the biggest thing is their pass rush isn't as good. You know, like, it's easier to play man when Myles Garrett's rushing the passer. You know, Of course, sure. You know what I mean? So that's where they fall short is their pass rush won't be as good. Now, nobody blitzes Rodgers. He's like the least blitz quarterback in the league. Ravens manufacture pressure through blitz. He may sting them a little bit. I mean, if he can hold the ball a little longer because their pass rush isn't good, could the Thielens and MVSs have half a second longer to get open?
Sure.
You know, but that's the kind of stuff I'm looking at. But in the end, I almost think, and we've said this a lot of Fridays, you know, who runs the ball better might be what it all comes down to.
I was just going to say, I was literally about to say, like, stop me if you guys have heard this before, but it sounds like the game plan for the Steelers offense is run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball.
And I was a little critical of the Steelers.
I think that's been
on
our
Monday.
show the last couple Fridays, but
because they're good at it.
Because they're good at it.
That's the thing. I don't know if they know they're good at it sometimes. You know, stick with it. And I was a little critical on Monday. You know, man, you're not doing anything through the air. Just lean on Warren, lean on Gainwell, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And some of their pass splits got skewed against the Browns because the last drive or two was throw. But I still thought they should have been run heavier in neutral situations.
Yes. It can always be easy to pick apart certain individual statistics, but I don't want to come in here on Monday and we're recapping this game and Jaylen Warren has 12 carries.
Yeah. Boy, he touched the ball 14 times this game. Like,
I want that
probably
number.
Lost.
I want that number in the 20s.
Yeah.
It can be low 20s, but I want it in the 20s.
I mean, what's the number we want him and Gainwell to combine touches? 30?
Maybe even
28? I mean, yeah. I mean, if you tell me it's 20, I'm going to be like, you lost.
I would like Warren to have 19 to 22 carries.
Yeah. Couple catches.
So let's say 24 for him.
I'm thinking Gainwell's going to get 6 targets.
Yes.
I mean,
that would put you to 30 and then maybe 10
Yeah.
carries for him, 40. Yeah.
Yeah.
40 touches between the two.
Sounds like a ton, and it actually is.
It is.
You know, right.
But
if you only run 60 plays, but still, I mean, I don't need MVS getting 10 targets.
Exactly right.
You know what I mean? Right.
That's just it. To me, it's in a situation like this. Like I wanna live or die with my best playmakers.
Yeah, dance with who brung you.
Exactly
right.
Exactly right. I throw Pat Freiermuth into that mix and give me a heavy dose of both running backs.
And I wish Freiermuth brung us more. I mean, I think he's been underutilized all year.
Same.
Right.
Maybe you wouldn't need to win this game if that were the case, but different conversation for a different time. I think that about covers it from a
lot of matchups.
From a matchup standpoint.
Yeah. Our around the league segment's going to be. Bleh.
I was just going to say
there's a lot of games that aren't worth.
I was literally about to say this might be the most anticlimactic around the league segment that we've had coming at you on the other side. Yeah. But we still got it. We still got to have it.
A couple ones we'll chat about.
Still in a couple important games to discuss. We'll do that, and then obviously before we get out of here, final thoughts, predictions on Steelers Ravens at the bottom of the hour as we roll along here on the drive. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Down the home stretch here, not only of this edition of The Drive, but also on the 2025, now 2026 NFL regular season. I've always been like, I don't know. Is it still the 2025 regular season? I guess, but it's the 25-26 regular season. I don't know. It gets a little.
I don't know. Like basketball
convoluted.
and hockey do that.
Yeah.
Like it's both.
Which is always weird. It's like, is that team the 25 or like whoever wins the NBA title this year? Are they the 25 or the 26 champions?
No.
I don't know.
I'm not sure on that.
That's the one thing that I like about the baseball schedule. Is it's all contained in one calendar year. But this is week 18. It's the final week of the 25-26 regular season here for the National Football League, and not the greatest set of tiebreakers, and this happens and that team and this and that, but there are obviously still a few games that deserve highlighting. Matt, 2 of them on Saturday. There are 2 important games on Saturday, and it begins at 4:30 with the only other winner move on, loser go home.
Yeah, loser leave town match.
2 dogs, 1 bone type games in Tampa Bay at Raymond James Stadium, where the Bucs are 3-point favorites over the Panthers. Winner wins the NFC South and hosts a playoff game next week. The loser hits the offseason by Monday morning. Or by Sunday morning.
Tampa loses, I think Bowles could lose his job too.
I mean, if they were to go from being 7-1 at one point or 6-1 at one point,
it's been a monumental collapse.
Finishing 7-10.
Yeah.
And I know this is not fair to Bowles, but I'm sure there's a lot of revisionist history of like, we let Liam Cohen go.
That's, I think, what's working against him more than anything.
But
those two, the two, well, he's playing against one of them, but the last 2 offensive coordinators were so good that they've turned into very successful coaches, and then he hires a 3rd offensive coordinator, which hasn't been close to as good.
Yeah. It's almost like a victim of his own success in hiring his coordinators there. It reminds me of the Brian Flores thing with the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get the credit for bringing in Flores and having him, but then everyone's like, well, why didn't you keep him?
Yeah, right.
Because he was moving up.
Yeah.
What were you going to do? Just fire somebody so you can move him up? Like, it's not that simple.
We know how there's grumpy fans, and there's always fans that aren't happy with the coaches no matter what. But, I mean, in Tampa, the big thing is you should have fired Bowles and kept Cohen.
Yeah, and I know that's
How
easy
often
to say.
Does that happen?
The Bucs have been to the playoffs for 5 straight years.
I
just fired. And I know he wasn't. Exactly. Some of that was BA, but still, like, they made the playoffs.
They've been a very successful organization.
Who made the playoffs,
and he was BA's coordinator.
Yes.
During that time too.
That to me is total like revisionist history BS. Like,
that never happens in a league where you fire the head guy and a coordinator gets bumped up.
Never.
Keep the staff.
It stinks that you lost Flores. It stinks that you lost Liam Cohen. But that's life in the National Football League.
Right. He did a good job hiring. Right.
The same people who are probably crushing Bowles are probably the same ones who are like, look at the coaching tree.
Yeah. Right. That being said, I can't bet on the Bucs.
Same. I was just going to say, I'm taking the Panthers +3. I think I would take them to win straight up.
I'm shocked they're getting that many points. And I don't even think they're good. I'm not sure they're particularly good at anything.
I don't even think they're good.
But I'm done on the Bucs. I mean, every week I'm like, I think the Bucs will get back to what we think they are. Mike Evans is back, and maybe Mayfield's a little healthier, and they just lose every week. I'm done.
They have lost 8 of their last 9, I think it is, something like that. And I'm with you too. I cannot pick the Bucs to win. I certainly can't lay 3 points with Tampa Bay with the way that they've been playing.
I mean, it's a coin flip game at best for them, let alone. Do you realize they're not in if they win? I didn't know that until yesterday.
Who?
The Bucs. This is not a loser leave. I didn't. So.
Something with Atlanta.
Yes. So we have not gone over this, but it's deep, deep, deep down the tiebreakers. And since Atlanta played Monday night and won, it's not. They need Atlanta to lose to the Saints and win if you're the Bucs, because they would all be 8-9.
Yeah,
and a team under 500 would go to the playoffs. But they lose tiebreakers directly to the Falcons. So this is not. Carolina wins and they're in, but if Tampa wins, they got to wait around. And
interesting.
Seems like not many people are talking about that. I didn't know that till yesterday.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
And then that is weird to me then that they would make the Falcons games, they'd put those games on opposite days.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
But if the Panthers end up getting the job done, I think probably most surprising division winner of the year would have to be.
It have to be. I mean, the Bears are kind of up there too.
That's true.
Considering
it's
that the Lions and
it's a great one.
Minnesota won a bunch of games last year. It's a good division.
Like I know the NFC East is loaded, but I don't think maybe Seattle, but I don't think that really surprises too many people.
Not to that degree.
Not to that degree.
Right.
Bears is a great shout by you too, just because of how good
the
division is, and the Packers and the Lions. Yeah,
how good they were last year.
Big one Saturday night, not for winner stays, loser goes home type scenario, but for the number 1 seed in the first round bye in the NFC, the Seahawks travel to San Francisco, Santa Clara to Levi Stadium. Niners, Seahawks, 8 o'clock Saturday night. Pardon me. This has been a good rivalry in the NFL now for a while. In the 21st century, these two teams have played some very important
back to
games.
Russ and Kaepernick and Harbaugh and
Richard Sherman screaming about Michael Crabtree. When you try me with a sorry bleep 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 receiver like Crabtree, that's what you're gonna get.
This rivaled Ravens Steelers for a while.
This was maybe the game of the year in the NFL for a while. Niners at home are 1.5-point underdogs. Seattle laying 1.5 points on the road against San Francisco.
So I don't know if you know this, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners don't. Another little cool tidbit about this: if the Niners win, they will play every remaining game, including the Super Bowl, at home.
Didn't think about that, but you're absolutely right.
They would have the number 1 seed, and they would host the Super Bowl. I mean, so they're never leaving town.
Wow,
that'd be awesome.
That's very nice for them.
That's a really nice situation. This is another
Did that happen to the Rams when the Rams won the Super Bowl like 4 or 5 years ago against Cincinnati? That was at SoFi. They were the first ever NFL team to win a Super Bowl
at home.
Okay, but I don't know if they were. I don't know if they were the 1 seed. No,
I don't know.
It had. I'm pretty sure it had happened before where someone had played in it. But they were the first to win it, I believe, at their home stadium.
Okay.
But I don't know if they were the 1 seed or not.
I don't know that either. I think it's a really good game.
4 times it's happened, TV?
They were the 4 seed.
They were the 4 seed. Okay.
I think this is going to be a really good game. San Francisco's defense is by far the weakest unit of the 4, but I think they're the best offense in the league right now and are humming at a ridiculous level. I'm not exactly sold on Darnold as a big game quarterback yet. I need to at least see it. He's never played great in a big game. And as good as Seattle is on all facets, their offense has come back to earth a little bit. So is Darnold. I'm kind of shocked the Niners are a dog at home.
Same. And I know their defense has not been great.
No, it's not.
I think a lot of those things that you just – this is a big spot for Seattle. Like, this to me almost feels like it means more for Seattle than San Fran.
Yeah. I mean, imagine them being the 1 seed. Like, this is a highly successful year.
Big time. And that's a really tough place to play and for the NFC to go through. For the Niners, it's just like it's amazing that you're in this opportunity with all the injuries and all the loss you've had this season.
Right. Kittle's playing.
I think
Trent Williams. I know this because I host with a Niners.
With Peacock, yeah.
But there's a chance they're going to be on their 3rd string left tackle, which is not ideal.
Not
Trent
great.
Williams is a total stud too.
Absolutely. I think I'll take the points with the Niners. I know it's not much; it's only a 1.5, but I think they've been so good at home. They've been almost impossible to stop at home.
Their offense is just at a ridiculous level.
If they score 30-some points again, they're going to be tough to beat. Matt, twice it's happened. 2 teams have played a Super Bowl in their stadium in NFL history, and it happened in back-to-back years. 2020. Of course, Tom Brady was the first to ever do it. I should have remembered that.
Oh, at Tampa.
The Bucs did it in 2020 with Brady against the Chiefs, and then the very next year, the Rams did it at SoFi against the Bengals. So it's happened twice, and it was both back-to-back years, and the home team won both times.
Okay, I guess it'll probably be more and more common as more domes pop up across the country too.
I would definitely think
Used to be the Saints in Miami and Pasadena.
Right, there was only 4 or 5 host cities, and like the Saints in Miami were never in the conversation.
The Saints were terrible, and
On to the Sunday slate. Speaking of the Saints and the Falcons, what becomes a big one there now in Atlanta, 1 o'clock, where the Falcons are 3.5-point favorites over the upstart Saints and Tyler Shuck.
No Chris Olave, but I'm still taking the Saints to stay within 3.5.
They've been playing.
They're playing good,
about as well as anybody.
Yeah.
I think if that number was low, if that was a 1.5 number, I think I'd lay them with Atlanta. But
over 3 was
over 3 with New Orleans. I think you're right. They're playing well, and
people around here don't realize that's a huge rivalry.
It is a big rivalry, and the Falcons have been so streaky. They've been so weak. Like what we've talked about, they're one of those teams that has been such a week-to-week, proposition with those guys. They played really well last week. Did they come back down to earth a little bit this week? I think so. I'll take the Saints plus 3.5. I'm with you on that one. Cincinnati at home against the Browns, where some top 10 pick seeding is on the line here, and of course Myles Garrett still looking to get that single-season sack record.
Think he gets it?
Yes.
It's a hard one to assume because, as we saw with the Steelers, you can really scheme around one guy like that, I bet he does.
I think he does. It's tough. It's just tough to see him getting shut out back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, he's just too good.
With that on the line. And the Bengals are going to let Burrow throw.
Yeah, they're going to throw.
Cincinnati, 7.5-point favorites at home there in the Battle of Ohio.
I'll take the Bengals. They're playing pretty well. I mean, it's a quiet kind of situation in that no one's paying attention. They're eliminated, but the defense hasn't been horrendous lately. They got all their weaponry pretty much on offense. I think they win that game.
7.5 is tough.
I wish it was under 7.5. There's some huge spreads, as you can imagine, this week, which really there's very few things I would actually put action on.
Yeah. I feel like the Browns always give the Bengals hell in these matchups, too. I'm going to take the plus 7.5 with Cleveland. I think the Bengals win, but I don't know if they win by 8 points. I'll take the points.
Browns D is still playing strong.
Yes. I like to do this. That is your cheapest get-in price of the weekend in that game. $26 will get you a ticket to Paycor Stadium for the Battle of Ohio. Minnesota hosts the Packers another Sunday, 1 o'clock. Doesn't really mean much.
Clayton Tune starting for the Packers.
Who?
Yeah, Clayton Tune.
Who?
I mean, they're locked in at the 7 seed.
They don't want to let us see Malik Willis one last time, do they?
I think the Vikes blow them out.
They're 9.5-point favorites at home.
Oh, wow. I
9.5.
Right.
It's a big number. It's one of the bigger numbers of the weekend.
Flores' defense is flying around, though. There are some of these teams like Miami and Cincy.
I was just going to say, the Vikings kind of strike me as Cincinnati of like, in an alternate universe, they're getting ready for the playoffs, and you don't want to see those guys.
Yeah, they're playing well.
But they're playing well at the wrong, too little too late.
I don't know if they're beating anybody by 9.5.
I don't know if they're beating anybody by 10 points.
I mean, they still have quarterback issues.
I'll take the Packers plus 10.
Yeah,
the Vikings win a low score. This is also like the lowest over-under of the week with only 36.5 for the over-under there.
I thought that game was like a 5.5 or 6 spread. When you said 9.5, I was like, ooh.
I'll take the Packers.
Yeah, I guess I'll take the
Packers. Not lose by 10.
I assume they're sitting everybody, though.
I would think so. At MetLife, the Giants host the Cowboys. Dallas, 3.5-point favorites.
I'll take the Cowboys. I mean, they're still trotting out Dak and Pickens and Lamb and those guys, yeah.
It doesn't mean much to either team, but I think Dallas just a much more talented roster.
No, yeah. And I think the Giants wouldn't mind losing.
That too.
Yeah.
Jacksonville against another team who might not mind losing, the Tennessee Titans. This one in Florida. The Jags, Matt, with a win, would go 13-4 and win the division. Who saw that coming back in August? They're 13.5-point favorites at home.
Every Friday I do a Locked On NFL show with the Jags host. His name's Amp Wig, good dude. And he said they're playing everyone like crazy in this game. They're looking to blow your doors off both sides of the ball.
And they're not going to get the first round bye. So
no, but they win the division.
They win the division.
And that's super important. And
they're looking to roll momentum into
yeah. I'm still taking the Titans, though, because the Houston game's going on at the same time, and I'm sure they'll be scoreboard watching. But I just think Tennessee's feisty. I mean, like, Ward's playing pretty well.
They've got the best left guard in football.
Really good left guard. The end of the year hasn't been bad for them.
No, it hasn't.
They're
they're not rolling over and dying in all these games.
No, they're not a junk team. They're at least trending the right direction.
They're okay in the trenches.
Yeah.
And they've got a quarterback who
is promising.
Yeah,
they've run the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a huge spread, right?
It's 13.5.
Yeah, I'll just take the point.
Take the Titans to have to cover 2 touchdowns. I think that's smart. And it might even be one of those where the Jags are up 21 points in the third quarter, but then Tennessee scores 10.
And they pull Lawrence out because they haven't won.
Right, exactly.
That's probably the way I think it happens.
The scoreboard watching in Houston, or maybe the scoreboard watching in Jacksonville, as it relates to Houston, the Texans host the Colts at 1 o'clock. Matt, if a couple months ago we would have said that this game would be for a playoff spot, one of these teams would be eliminated and one would still have an outside shot of winning the division, I think we'd be like, oh, the Colts,
taking care of business.
They took a little bit of a step back, but they're still going to make the playoffs. No, it's the Texans who are 11-2 In their last 13 games, they're 10-point favorites at home over the floundering Riley Leonard starting at quarterback, Indianapolis Colts.
I'm still taking the points. I mean,
Houston's another one. Like, I don't know if they'd score enough on offense to win a game by 13.
Their defense might keep them to 10 points or whatever, but I don't know if they're going to put up 30 themselves.
Here's my only thing for this one is, have the Colts done the Cancun on 3 thing? The way that this season's played out, and it's so disappointing of an end, and it's we're on the road. Who cares? Just get me out of here.
Jonathan Taylor, why don't you just...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I might lay the points with Houston now. I'm thinking this out loud.
I get it.
Because of all the teams with nothing to play for in Week 18, the Colts might be the most disappointed amongst that group.
Like Sauce Gardner's not going to play, obviously, and guys like that. I mean,
like we were
Riley. Let's see what you can do.
We were just 7-2, and now we're 8-8.
That's why. I mean, I wouldn't touch any of these games, but I'm just kind of looking at it like division matchup, trying to kind of be spoiler. If you're going to give me 10 points plus, I'll take it.
I don't like any of these. I really don't. No. Buffalo just 7.5-point favorites at home against the Jets. Does that mean Josh Allen ain't playing?
I think it's Trubisky, and I still think they win.
I still think they win. I'll probably lay those points.
I guess I'll take the Bills. Yeah.
Yeah, 7.5 isn't it's more than a touchdown, but the Jets are bad.
I say Jets and Raiders. I'm not picking.
That's the last Orchard Park game. The place will be rocking, and there'll be a lot of emotion in the building.
Like I would assume they sit down James Cook, but they're probably playing like all their receivers and the whole offensive line. And,
at least to start.
Yeah.
I think the Bills
Jets are just terrible.
That's the biggest thing for me is
Brady Cook.
The Jets are another. They've got their vacation plans made, and they're just trying to see this thing.
You say what you want about Mitch, but he's an NFL quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Bears hosting the Lions. Matt, this is one that a few weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, looked like it could have massive implications.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, the Bears 3-point favorites at home against the 8-8 Lions.
The Bears and Eagles are weird because I think the Eagles are sitting everyone.
There's some seeding stuff still
They're both
going
to be 2 and 3, but it depends but that's as far as they can go. They're going to be 2 and 3 or 3 and 2. And I know the Eagles are playing Tanner McKee.
Yes.
I assume the Bears are playing everyone, but I just think Campbell will play hard. They're not a rollover and die Cancun team at all.
Nope.
I'll take the points. I just don't know what the Bears are going to trot out there.
It's a good point.
I haven't seen any reports on them.
Because that's one of those.
They're so young. I don't know that I'd be resting everybody,
but it could also be they play till halftime. And
that's a thing.
I think I'm going to take the points with the Lions too.
I just think Campbell.
There's a lot of unknown with the Bears.
I would think Campbell wants to finish the season strong.
Mile High Stadium, Broncos, Chargers, seeding implications in this one. Denver wins, and they are the 1 seed in the AFC, and they get the bye, and the conference runs through Mile High. Chargers, we know, shutting down Herbert.
Yeah.
Denver, 12.5-point favorites at home. It's a big number.
I know.
Williamson. That's a big number.
I guess I'll take Denver. I don't like it at all.
What's crazy is it's only a 37.5 over and under. So I mean,
they're expecting the Chargers not to put any points up at all.
Yes. Which
I mean, it's a side note, but if I ever brought up the J.T. O'Sullivan football school or quarterback school,
I don't think so.
He's got a YouTube page and he breaks down the all 22. And I was watching just last night. I was watching Herbert last week against the Texans, and to say they don't block anybody, I mean, just watch it on TV. It's like they don't block anybody.
It's like me and you out there blocking for Justin Herbert.
They blow assignments left and right too. Like these guys have never played with each other, and against that Denver front. I'm going to have a hard time with that. Herbert bails them out over and over.
That's a lot. That's a lot of points to lay. Mm-hmm. But I think the Broncos will be engaged because they know if they get the job done, they get a week off. So it's not like they're hankering to rest people when you get the job done.
They're going to want to win.
Yes.
I mean, they may pull guys in the last series or something.
Sure.
But right.
Which is the only thing that gives me pause is the Chargers backdoor cover at the end. But I'm with you. I think the safer bet is to lay the 12.5 with Denver.
Boy, that's a big number.
Raiders host the Chiefs. I don't think either team wants to win this game, Matt.
I don't either.
Kansas City is 5.5-point favorites.
I just kind of made a statement that I'm not taking the Jets or Raiders in any game at the end of the season, so I'll stick with that. But, I mean, is this going to be Kenny versus
I think so.
Awulikon?
I believe so.
Same draft class?
Same draft class. Couple former Stellars out there slinging it in Sin City.
Kenny's better than him.
Has there
Does Kelsey play?
Has there ever been a game in NFL history where both fan bases have wanted their team to lose as much as they will at 4:25 on Sunday?
Raiders could win, though.
They absolutely could.
I mean, that'd be terrible.
That'd be terrible.
Right,
what if you beat this bum Chief team, meaningless game, and it cost you Fernando Mendoza?
And, oh, by the way, the Chiefs end up like the 5th pick in the draft, and you got to play against them twice a year, too.
Did you see Mendoza's?
I wonder if Kansas City would like the Raiders to win.
Probably.
Like, I don't
want you to get the first pick.
I don't want you to get Mendoza, right.
Did you see Mendoza's post-game interview after the Rose Bowl yesterday?
Is it real dorky?
Weapons grade level dork, I tell you.
Oh, man.
Weapons grade level
We'll
nerd.
talk about that in draft season. I'm just not sure, dude. I'm not sure I can get there. I did not see the interview, but I might have to look it up.
Matt wants like
Seems like a swell dude.
Matt wants like Ben
wrong.
Roethlisberger, Joe Montana, the coolest guy in the room, walking in.
I went like Johnny Unitas smoking a cigarette. Ken Stabler with a gallon of whiskey with his O-lineman.
Hey, listen, Caleb Williams painted his nails and all that goofy stuff. I think we're getting there. The Rams host the Cardinals, 8.5-point favorites at SoFi.
They said they're playing everyone, but I bet it's only for like a series.
That's what I'm thinking too. The Cardinals are 1-13 in their last 14 games.
Why would you keep Stafford out there?
I don't like the 8.5 number because I think it'll be low scoring.
I know.
But I'm leaning on the side of the Rams because I think the Cardinals are one of those.
They don't ever win either.
Get to the finish line, Cancun on 3.
I'm going to take the Cardinals just because I think McVay's history of resting people, especially in the preseason,
it's true. He values
is much stronger than
does.
his statement that we're going to play everybody. Yeah, you're going to play everybody, but they're going to play one series.
Patriots still will be keeping an eye on the Broncos to see if they have a chance to get that 1 seed. They're at home against the Dolphins, 425, 11.5-point favorites are New England.
Miami's playing pretty well again. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this when the Steelers played them. Their wins aren't against powerhouses, but
they're 7-9.
They're 7-9. Actually, Ewers has played pretty well the last 2 weeks.
He hasn't been terrible.
I thought he was going to be bad as a pro.
I thought he was going to be a disaster. And hey, maybe he'll be one of these guys that can be a good long-term backup in this league.
Yeah, and Miami's head coach knows how to manufacture offense.
He does.
Too.
He can scheme it up.
I'm definitely taking the points. I actually kind of like this one, and my thought is Drake May might be looking the whole fourth quarter with a baseball cap on because Denver's winning big.
And they're like, get him out of here.
Get him out of here. We don't have a bye next week.
Makes a lot of sense.
And Miami's going to play hard.
Last one, Matt, Eagles, Commanders. This is another one that I'm sure the schedule makers thought would be a banger Week 18, but instead, Eagles only 4.5-point favorites because they're going to rest some people and shut some people down.
Well, McKee's definitely starting.
Yeah.
And I think he's pretty good, actually.
He is.
He's one of these like Willis backup Mac Jones guys that I think could be a starter.
I think I told you this, but I'm pretty in tap with the Philly market because I worked there for 3 years. My wife's from there, in-laws.
Some people prefer him to Hurts.
I've still got a lot of Philly friends in the media that cover that team that I worked with for 3 years when I was living there. Last year, they were all like, why is Kenny Pickett our number 2? It should be Tanner McKee.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, there's even some crazies in Philly that think he is better than Jalen Hurts, but they're really high on that guy.
I know. I mean, again, story for another day, but if we have the conversation in a month, should the Steelers trade a third-round pick for McKee, I'd be like,
maybe.
Let's have this conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think he's that kind of guy. And I think Washington's on their third quarterback. I don't think Mariota's playing. I forget who even that is. I'll take the Eagles. And they have a little bit to play for.
It's not
the defense is awesome.
It's not a massive spread. It's only 4. It's not 7.5 or 8.5. Their defense is awesome. They're at home.
I would think Barkley gets shut down.
I think so.
Yeah.
But I think the Eagles are going to play with some pride and want to win that. And, go into the postseason. Yeah, absolutely.
Do they play at the same time as the Bears?
They do. Yes.
Okay.
Same time. Yes. Same time. Yep. So that's your slate, except for, of course, the final game of the weekend, which is
slate.
Pretty yucky. Yeah. But not this one. Ravens, Steelers. Whew, in prime time on Sunday night. We'll give final thoughts and predictions when we return on the other side as we close down this show on a Friday. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, it's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Down the home stretch, here we are. Steelers, Ravens, Sunday Night Football. Winner moves on. Loser goes home. We've got 2 things that we have to discuss. One's breaking news. One's a wild statistic. The good news, the breaking news, TJ Watt, according to Adam Schefter, is set to return to action Sunday night, which is awesome. A much-needed boost. And
even emotional boost. I mean, everything. Not to mention she's a great player. But
That stuff, like these guys are
matters,
human.
right.
As much as people think they're just robots and professional athletes
Right.
and bulletproof millionaires, you are backed into a corner, do or die.
Yeah, think if you're Harmon as a rookie playing this game, and I got TJ back to my
And
my
here comes
left
the
here
guy
again,
who
yeah.
has been your best player for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Through the tunnel at the time when you need him most.
Boy, we need someone on defense to make a big play to seal this game. I'm glad 90's playing.
That's the one that I would put my poker chip on.
Yeah.
And then, Matt, you unearthed the potential insane New York Jets stat when we went to break here.
Yeah.
too.
So, just side note, I mean, Matt's stats apparently is growing in popularity, and we talk about it a lot.
Your brand's massive, dude.
And frankly, a lot of people from the city steal it, whether they cite me or not. I don't care.
True.
Great. Everyone knows where it's coming from, and I don't care. But this dude Lou, who follows me, sent me a an adjusted turnover differential chart with the missed field goals and
I love it.
Fourth down
I love
stuff. And Lou, if you're listening, send me one next week because I want to hold this for after the season's complete. But anyways, I looked and the Jets are dead last, and it dawned on me. I'm like, we have not brought this up. They don't have an interception all year.
It's insane.
They have zero.
That's insane.
Could you double check it for me just so I'm not talking out the other end of my mouth? But I'm almost 1,000% sure. And it would be the first time in NFL history that a defense had zero interceptions. Zero. Yep.
Zero.
TV's like,
as in like the O that Oregon fans hold
Yeah.
up.
they have not picked off an opposing passer all year.
Just to
That's
really
nuts.
paint the picture, the next lowest teams,
I bet it's like
Cowboys, Titans,
6.
Niners, each have 6.
Okay, yeah. Wow.
So there's nobody in the league with less than 5.
And they have zero.
And they have 0. That's
and if
insane.
they don't get one this week, they will be the only team in NFL history.
That's wild.
And it's 17-game seasons. I mean, the teams, there was 12-game seasons. Well, people threw turnovers left and right back then, but still, you get my point.
According to my hastily done AI search here on Google,
Yeah.
if the Jets don't record an interception this week, they will be the first team in NFL history.
Think how bad that is. I mean, like the
Especially
deflection
in
that
this
popped up
era.
in the air. Right.
Like, this isn't the 60s where they were throwing the ball 12 times a game.
I know. And actually, I have another crazy one that I retweeted from them, too.
Matt, 2 months ago, ESPN wrote an article, Jets baffled by historic streak of no interceptions. That was 2 months ago.
Wow.
Month and a half ago.
So this doesn't bode great for the Steelers, but remember, it's a long time ago, folks. The Jets have had the lead this year for 66 snaps.
That's wild.
That's
That's
wild.
like one game, composite, one game.
And unfortunately, 24 of those 66 were against the
Steelers.
Steelers in week 1. So in week 1, they had the lead for 24 snaps. Since they've had the lead for 42 snaps. You know how bad that is?
We might have to, at the end of the year, do the Drive Awards and really decide who was the worst team in the NFL. Was it the Jets or the Raiders?
We were really hard on the Raiders, and the Jets got a little bit of a pass for some of these power ranking weeks. Right?
Whew. Maybe just because we expected more from the
Especially
Raiders.
after the trades, too. And with Cook being the quarterback. It was better, at least, when Fields and Howard Taylor were in there.
Big shout out to Lou for putting that together.
Yeah, thanks, Lou. But we went 0 interceptions.
That's crazy.
Come on, man.
Like, you'd think you just luck into 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Ravens Steelers. Ain't going to be no luck deciding this one, Matt. A good old-fashioned Armageddon between good old-fashioned hatred rivals here. Baltimore now 3.5-point favorites.
I picked the Ravens to win 20-17.
Okay.
And a lot of it is recency biased.
Sure.
Most of it's based off of who's going to make plays versus man coverage for the Steelers. And I hope that a week trial run, like as Pursuta was talking about, like the coaching staff tried this once, they'll know what happened, what works well, what doesn't, can benefit you. And I hope, as you mentioned, Gainwell, Warren, and particularly Freiermuth are the guys touching the football and getting targeted. But we haven't seen that evidence. I mean, it's a leap of faith. And frankly, the thing that worries me most is Steelers going to kick off the Ravens. Lamar takes the first snap, and we go, oh, that's Lamar again. And then I'm scared. But I'll also be truthful. I picked it because when I pick against the Steelers, I win. Now, that might double reverse jinx it. I don't know.
Well, this will make people happy then.
I think it's going to be a very, very close game. And I think the lines of scrimmage really great favor the Steelers.
The people will be happy. Only 3 times this year have you and I both picked the Steelers to lose.
Yeah.
And all 3 times the Steelers have won.
Colts.
Lions. What was the other one? Packer? Nope, because they lost that game. Couldn't have been the Bills. Colts, Lions. I'm drawing a blank on what the other one was.
What was their other upset?
It was early in the season.
Was it like
Seattle,
a Bengal game
maybe, or something like that? Maybe the Bengals Thursday nighter? No, we both picked them to win that one. I'm not sure. Baltimore, the first Baltimore game. I think that's what it was. It was the first Baltimore game. Yep. Colts, Lions, first Baltimore game. Matt, from my lips to your heart, Baltimore 13, Steelers 9.
Love it. I definitely think it's going to be a low-scoring, grinded out, down to the wire, Boz kick or something like that. Yeah.
You have me feeling much better with your highlights of the trenches and the Steelers being better on, which I don't think is Homer, Steelers Audio Network, black and gold glasses.
I think it's distinct.
That makes me
that's
feel
what's
much better.
derailed the Ravens season as much as Lamar's injury is. They're not very good on either line of scrimmage.
When you're not very good in the trenches and your MVP quarterback's kind of playing at a human level.
Because they had some innate issues before he got hurt. The first month of the season.
And then that just exacerbates him.
Yeah. And he couldn't elevate them like he usually.
Well, regardless of how it plays out, Steelers win. Matt and I will be back here on Monday to break it down for you. Win, lose, or draw. Which, by the way, if there is a tie, Steelers win the division. So, I'm sure they'll talk about that on the broadcast. But if it does go into overtime, the Steelers have 2 possible outcomes to go to the postseason, where Baltimore needs a win straight up, and nothing else will do the trick. Thanks to Missi Matthews for joining us today. Thanks to TV for producing the video side of things, and a big shout out to the
last show of the regular season. No matter
last show
what.
of the regular season. Big shout out.
We'll be back Monday either way, though.
That we will, and for the foreseeable future, we ain't going anywhere. So
Let's ruin Derrick Henry's birthday.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly
I
right.
hate that it's his birthday.
Me too. Let's make it a one of those where he's, where Derrick Henry's in his 60s and he's talking to his grandkids and he's like, yeah, my 32nd birthday really sucked. Went to Acrisure Stadium.
Had a lot of good ones.
Had our season end against the Steelers and I had to watch all those terrible towels being waved in my face. Let's get it done.
Fumbled 3 times.
Let's get it done and let's host a playoff game next week, baby. Matt, this is my 8th season with the Steelers now.
Okay.
One thing that they haven't done in my time is host a playoff game. Again, I'm not counting the COVID year against the Browns.
With a full stadium.
With 68,000 terrible towels screaming and yelling. We'll be back Monday to break it all down. As always, you know where to find us. For Matt Williamson, I'm Wes Uhler, and that's on your 24/7 home of the black and gold, Steelers Nation Radio.